Joining me now is Mary Rice Hasson. Mary is the Cato Byrne Fellow in Catholic Studies at the Ethics and Public Policy Center in Washington, D.C. She also directs the Catholic Women's Forum. That is a network of Catholic professional women and scholars. Mary, welcome back to the show. We appreciate it.
Wonderful to be here.
Well, first off, I'd love to get your insight and initial thoughts on the second poll.
So I think one of the interesting things is Catholics are so engaged. That's clear. But we do see a big difference in terms of public policy perspectives, depending on whether they are practicing their faith, whether they adhere to the church's teachings. And I was struck by one particular thing. One of the findings in the polls showed that 72% of Catholics say that there are some things that are intrinsically evil. That means they're wrong all the time. And yet, among Catholics across the board, fewer than half say that abortion is something that's intrinsically evil. Euthanasia, assisted suicide, and yet these are clear teachings of the Church. Now, of course, among Catholics who are practicing the faith and who accept all of the Church's teachings, you see a much greater percentage of them, but still not all of them, willing to say that those things are intrinsically evil. So that stood out to me, just this confusion about how do you apply that? What does that mean when you say something's intrinsically evil?
Yeah, and how would you describe the current political divide among Catholics in the United States?
So most Catholics still, while there's a recognition that President Trump has done a lot of good for the pro-life cause, if you look at Catholics as a whole, they still lean Democratic. And I think part of that is, I think what we're seeing is a confusion. I call it the compassion gap. They listen to the Democrats and they feel like that is more in tune with their Catholic values because they hear positions that sound more compassionate. And yet, we know from the teachings of the Church that we're really not seeing that clear support for life among the Democratic Party as a whole, not individual Democrats. So I think there's confusion. There's a lot of work, educational work to be done, I think, by the Church on these issues. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. How do you think, Mary, how do you think this divide will impact the election?
I think it's going to confuse pollsters in the sense that they like to be able to talk about a Catholic bloc, and there is no Catholic bloc unless you take into account religiosity and whether someone is a practicing Catholic, whether they are just simply culturally Catholic, or whether they really agree with the teachings of the Church. And you see a clear divide when you break it down to that level.
Yeah.
So.
We don't have much time left, but I'd love to get your insight on this, what you think of this. You know, the poll found that Catholics are concerned about unhealthy programming from the entertainment industry, and they want more family-type programming.
Yeah, which was great to see. That was almost across the board, that whether you were a practicing Catholic or not, people recognize that things have gone too far. And I think I'd love to see Hollywood realize there's a market here. There's a market here for family-friendly, faith-friendly programming, and you know, they've got a reason to go that way. So,
absolutely, Mary, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insight with us on this poll. We appreciate it.
Thank you.